the F87 BMW M2. There are a few big reasons why I've been wanting to drive this car for so long. Reason number one is this is a massive change over the F87 M2. I drove a 2018 F87 M2, and in all honesty, guys, I was a little bit disappointed with the power that car had. This, though, makes a heck of a lot more power over the F87 M2. In fact, it makes more power than the 2021 M2 CS if you just get the base G87 M2. So that's a pretty serious upgrade. On top of that, I mean, this interior is absolutely beautiful. And not only that, most people look at the G80 M3 and the G82 M4, and I feel like the M2 is just simply overlooked. And when you start to see that this car beats cars that it should never even be able to touch, I saw a video of this thing beating a C7 Corvette Z06. That should not be possible. The C7 Z06 makes 200 more horsepower and weighs 300 pounds lighter than the M2. That should not be possible. So that tells me this engine is probably the biggest lie of modern day cars in terms of it makes a lot more power than they claim, and I want to experience that and share my thoughts with you guys. So before we do go for a drive and check out this interior, let's take a quick look at the spec we're working with here. So we've got arguably probably the most common color, this gray color. I feel like you see this on so many BMWs nowadays. It does look really, really good on this though. For the exterior, the first thing we have to talk about is the design, which when this thing first came out, I thought it looked really, really weird, and I actually still do. It's kind of like just 5 squares placed on the front end of this car with headlights that don't really fit the square design. It looks aggressive, I'll definitely give it that, but I just don't think it looks all that good in the front end. For the tires up here, you get 275s up front, 19-inch wheels, a very plain exterior here, 180 inches long, so pretty compact, but it does weigh a lot at 3,800 pounds, so that's a little bit disappointing for the M2. In fact, it's about 200 pounds heavier than the previous generation, which is a little bit of an upset, but we'll see how that factors into the driving. Over here, you get 285s in the back with 20-inch wheels, and this is rear-wheel drive only. You cannot get an all-wheel drive M2. So the wider the tires back here, definitely the better, as you will see. In the back, a lot of people give hate to the back end design of this car. I actually think it looks good. The taillights sure are a little bit weird, but I think this actually does flow very nicely together. Got that nice M2 badge, very tiny, subtle spoiler here, nice, big, sporty exhaust tips. This does not have that weird $10,000 option for the exhaust tips. If you guys would pay money for that, let me know in the comments. I personally would not even get that if it was free, because I think it just looks, that kind of ruins the back end look of the car, in my opinion. For the roof here, this does have the carbon optioned roof. So this saves 48 pounds, lowers the center of gravity, and also makes this thing look a lot cleaner. I mean, that is so beautiful. Let's pop the hood real quick and take a look at what's under there. We've got the S58 3-liter twin-turbo inline-6 engine. Instead of talking about all the power numbers here, let's do that on our drive. All right, back inside of the M2, and of course we've got this absolutely beautiful interior. This does not have the carbon bucket seats. However, these standard seats are still really, really nice. Got an adjustable thigh bolster here. The M2 badge will light up at night. I love the blue, black, and red color combination here as well. And they're comfortable. And guys, I think off the bat, I've already heard a lot of people complain about how stiff the M2 is, even in its most comfortable setting. So getting the carbon buckets plus how stiff the M2 already is probably would not be the best experience, especially if you're going to be using this as a daily driver. We'll see. Before we take off, the one thing I do want to show you in the interior is this here, the setup info button. So on the steering wheel, well, first of all, more carbon fiber, nice M badge, heated steering wheel, all leather. This is very, very nice. But you also have 2 buttons here, M1 and M2. M2, and this is in all G Series M cars, so this is important to know. You can configure what each of these buttons do. So if you want click M1, and that'll put you in your M1 configuration mode. You have all of these different adjustable options for what M1 or M2 will mean for you. This is more adjustable settings than I have ever seen in any car that I've ever driven before. You have an adjustable engine, you have an adjustable, or you have a rev matching that's only going to come in the manual, of course. You have an adjustable chassis, adjustable steering, adjustable brake feel, dynamic stability control. You have multiple levels of traction control, auto start stop, and of course your active exhaust. So you can configure whatever you want, either or to mean. That is so cool. And you do have quite a few other things to look through in this interior here, but in all honesty, like, you got car info, but that's really what you want to see, is the adjustable settings and everything you can change in this car. So let's go ahead and take off right away, and we're going to start in our comfort setting here, because I feel like most people, when they're shopping for a car, they're not just getting it as a weekend car. They kind of want it to be the everything car, the daily driver, the car show car, the track car, the everything, right? So oh yes, okay. We are in comfortable right now, and going over just these little bumps at a slow speed in the road, it is stiff. Absolutely, it is stiff. Stiffer than you would want a daily driver to be. I'll say that right off the bat. It's not the worst I've ever felt, but it is definitely probably top 3. Again, in comfortable, this is already feeling like very stiff. And as for the gonna give them some space here. As for the clutch and the shifter, I've also heard quite a few complaints about this, but I like the feel of it. The shifter feels nice, and you really got to actually push it into gear, which is nice. There's a few cars I've driven recently with manual transmissions that I feel like they just flow into nicely. This one, you do actually have to like intentionally put it into gear, which makes it feel a lot more sporty. And I also want to mention that if you are going to spend $60,000 to $70,000 on an M2, you can also get cars like a CT4V Blackwing, which I think would be this car's best competition out of all of the other cars you can get for this price range. You do also have the C8 Corvette Stingray, you have the Mustang Dark Horse, you have the Audi RS3, and if you are going for an automatic M2, then the Audi RS3 I think would be a valid competitor, but unfortunately, if you want a manual, then the RS3 is not going to be an option. But I really do think the CT4V Blackwing is going to be the most relevant competition with this car. That's a twin turbo V6 from Cadillac. I drove that pretty recently, and I mean, already these cars have a pretty similar feel. This one feels like it has more power, it sounds more powerful, and the interior, guys. The interior in the BMW M2 is it feels a lot more special than the Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, so absolutely a win. The only other car I feel like at this price range that has an interior that competes with this might be the C8 Corvette in terms of its like design, but this one is definitely way higher quality than the C8 Corvette. All right, let's jump over into M1 mode here now and get a bit of a sportier feel with this thing. We'll jump over to M2 in a second, which is everything in its most insane setting. Oh my gosh. Yes, okay, this thing can absolutely move, and with those exhaust valves open, it sounds a heck of a lot better when you accelerate. Wow. Got a Hellcat Durango right there. Look at that, you almost never see those. There appears to be a lot of rev hang going from first to second. You got to keep your foot on the clutch longer than you would like to, going from first to second, which is a little bit weird. Oh man! And as soon as you hit 4,000 RPM, those turbos spool up, and that is where this thing begins to move. But under 4,000 RPM, not a whole lot of power. Let's see if we can move over here and get behind this Hellcat Durango for a second. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go to fourth gear and see what the acceleration is like at 3,000 RPM. Ready, set, go. Yeah, 4,000 and up is the moment where this car feels really, really fast. This would absolutely be the fastest 453 horsepower I've ever felt in my life, but it's not. This is making more power than that. Again, the cars that the M2 is able to beat clearly show that this thing is severely underrated for its power output. That's why you gotta love German engineering. Oh, that is nice. That is nice. Sound-wise, with these M cars, by the way, I think the G87 M4 sounds a heck of a lot better than the F82 M4, and as well as the G87 M2 sounds way better than the F87 M2, but it's still that twin-turbo inline-six sort of feeling to it. It's no V8 that has its own special place. These M cars just feel like mini jet engines is how I would describe it, and the sound matches that very, very well. It doesn't give you that same like happy feeling you get from a V8. You just feel like you're literally sitting in a jet. All right, let's whip around here and really get on it. Oh, beautiful turning radius. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is insane. In no world do you need this much power, guys. Wow. I mean, yeah, this borders on the line of like unusable power if you live in a city area. You really need open highway, back road, mountain roads to let this thing stretch its legs, because it is scary holding your foot on the throttle for more than a couple of seconds because, well, don't know where cops are. Let's slow down to 40 and do a nice pull here and see how this thing accelerates. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, that is absolutely absurd. But dyno-wise, I would rate this thing at like 530 horsepower probably. With this thing weighing 3,800 pounds, it should not feel this fast with the power numbers that BMW claims. Oh man, and again, as soon as you hit 4,000 RPM, it's like you get this boost of it feels like 100 horsepower more than you get when you're at like 3,500 RPM. Those turbos really turn on at 4,000. And I do love this clutch shifter combination. It's very easy to work with, despite I've heard a lot of complaints about it, but to me, it feels very user-friendly and easy to shift, except for the rev hang going from first to second. And going off of the line as well, in the manual version of the M2, very difficult to stall this car. I have had my fair share of stalls as I don't drive a manual on the daily. I have a Lexus ES350. I have not stalled this thing yet. This feels very, very easy to hop in and just drive. So for a beginner, learning manual, or if you don't drive manual cars a whole lot, or you just want one that's easy to work with, I can tell you from experience, this thing feels great. But there is a drawback if you get the manual M2. In the automatic, you actually get an extra 40 pound-feet of torque. Not to mention, of course, the car's gonna shift a heck of a lot faster than you would be able to if you got a manual. So if you do want a car that can do pulls, you know, from a traffic light, or you want to roll race and beat cars, you want to be able to potentially beat the C7 Z06 like in that video, then of course getting the automatic is going to be the way to go. But from the perspective of a car holding its value well, feeling more special, and being more engaging to drive, a manual transmission, you already know you cannot go wrong with that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. This is insane. I really do mean that. Like, when you hit 3,500 RPM, you're like, okay, this thing moves. And then as soon as it crosses 4,000, it's like this thing enters like warp mode, like time warp mode. This maybe 530 horsepower as my butt dyno is honestly still underrated. This is an unbelievably fast car. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Absolutely have to like chill out and contain yourself in this thing. Holy moly. I definitely am a little bit disappointed by the sound though. There's like muffled gurgles when you let off the throttle at a higher RPM. Again, when you accelerate, you just get this power sound, but not a whole lot of exhaust note, if you will. I hope you can understand that difference I'm trying to explain. It sounds like power, but you just don't get a lot of exhaust, like personality or play with this car. Off of the bat, I am liking this more than the CT4V Blackwing. The interior feels like way more special. I do like the sound of this more than the CT4V Blackwing. Again, this feels more, it sounds more powerful, and the CT4V Blackwing didn't have a very crazy exhaust note. Again, only so much you can do with a 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. Oh my gosh. Look at this rev hang. And that takes a while for it to drop down what it needs to going into second gear. All in all, guys, I will say that this is a car I am actually putting on my list for something I would like to own in the future. Oh, that is very bumpy. Oh my gosh. Just don't forget, if you're going to get this car and you're expecting it to be comfortable, not it at all. Again, in its comfortable setting, it's not... It is pretty bad. I was gonna say it's not terrible. It is pretty bad for sure. You're never gonna like sit back and relax and be like, oh, what a nice ride. You're always gonna be reminded that you are in an aggressive M car. So keep that in mind. But as a weekend car, even as a daily driver, if you don't mind the roughness, then this would absolutely be pretty awesome. Nice backup camera as well. And yeah, that's the M2, guys. Share your thoughts down in the comments below. Really appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next video. Peace out.